Adaptability, change, preparation, and adjustment is what Jason Smith talked about in his school leadership position around the topic of flexibility when the school leadership group talked to the community around things they thought were important to share. Jason's teachers have remarked of how much he has grown throughout his time here at Montgomery. I've heard that firsthand myself. He has tremendously grown with the way he interacts and communicates with his classmates and teachers. I've noticed that he has put energy and effort into how he communicates with others. He also has a great sense of humor. He shows this in different areas throughout the community. He has grown from a quiet student to one who dives into all different areas of school life. He is never afraid of the stage, like we've seen with his vice president's speech, which was short, but his message around being flexible was a good one for student government speeches and was right on point for middle school students. And his dancing for Light the Night was hard to forget in front of the whole school. He is always ready to volunteer, like his moments on stage, volunteering for service events inside and outside of school, and all the work he does with his Scouts group outside of the school, like mentoring younger Scouts. When I asked Jason about his favorite Monty memory, he talked about the Boston trip. And with his good humor, he shared that on paper, he thought the trip was going to be boring, but it turned out to be a lot of fun. He himself has said he has grown and has been most influenced by his teachers and family. One of those areas is in procrastination, which we will learn about today. Please welcome Jason Smith to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jason Smith, and throughout my life, I've found that I have a problem. I'm a procrastinator. And I know people joke about procrastinating all the time, but in my case, it's a very real thing. I have actually submitted assignments at 11:59 p.m. on the day that they are due. Now, you might be wondering, what is procrastination? Well, the official definition of procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing something. And while I agree with this definition, I would word it differently. In my eyes, procrastination is when you repeatedly tell yourself that you can just do it later, all the way up to the point when you're still not done on the day that it's due. While procrastination is putting something off, you can procrastinate in many different ways. Playing video games with your friends, watching YouTube or TikTok, or taking a nap after school are all some of the most common ways of procrastinating instead of doing work. But why is procrastination bad? Obviously, not doing your homework is bad, but procrastinating also affects you in other ways. Putting off multiple assignments, or even just one single large assignment, creates a massive workload for you to finish in only a couple of days or hours, which in turn creates tons of stress. All that stress can affect how you sleep, how efficiently you study, or how much you pay attention in class. When you procrastinate, you're not only just hurting yourself by putting off the work, but you could also be hurting other people. For example, in a group project, if you don't do your part, everyone could be punished for your mistake. Or if you wait till the last minute to start a project and you don't have the supplies that you need, you have to make your parents drive you to a store at the last minute. But even some adults procrastinate. Some scramble to submit their tax returns before the deadline because being late on your taxes means you'll be hit with tons of penalties and interest on the amount that you owe. Procrastination hurts everyone in some way. So how can you avoid it? Lesson 1, managing your time. Managing your time is probably the most important lesson that I'll be talking about today, because it doesn't always come easily with everyone. Procrastination tends to happen when you are assigned a big project a month or two away, and you think to yourself, oh, I'll just do it later. I have so much time. But then a week passes by, and you say the same thing again. And then it keeps happening until you're working on the last day. Proof this happens frequently is when the 8th graders in boys basketball all worked on our Klondike Gold Rush novel Inside a couple of days before the assignment was due. That assignment was assigned on one of the first days of school, and none of us were finished. The best way you can manage your time better is to create a routine to follow every day. Use a planner to find when you have free time and block some of it off for working on the task you'd like to put off. If you put this at the same time each day, you'll get used to that routine. The great thing about a routine is that it doesn't even have to be that much work per day. If you worked only about 15 minutes per day on whatever goal you're trying to achieve, you could have that done early in short bursts of time instead of finishing it all last minute. Putting a study block each day in your routine is also very important because cramming info the night before is not a reliable way to get a good grade. By doing just a tiny bit of studying every day, you are training your brain to remember that info. Then you just rinse and repeat any other topics on the test until you remember everything. A time when I did not manage my time well was during our Zentangle art projects. I kept fooling around in class instead of working on the actual project, and so I had to spend multiple study halls and nights working on the final piece. Since then, I started to manage my time better in all my art projects and in my other classes. Lesson 2, eliminating your distractions. Distractions are things that prevent you from giving your full focus. So when you really need to finish an assignment, but you keep getting interrupted, it will take so much longer to finish than if you were to just push those distractors aside. Distractions come in many forms. Your phone or an annoying sibling are some of the most common examples, but little things can still distract you just as much. Getting rid of distractions is extremely easy though. The hard part is not going back to them. For example, what if your phone is on your desk and keeps blowing up with notifications? Instead of checking out who just texted you or which one of your favorite YouTubers just uploaded a new video, try temporarily disabling the notifications, turning off your phone, and putting it in a different room. By eliminating those pop-ups and dings, you are less aware of the distraction and you are keeping yourself more on task. A time when I let myself be distracted is when I went over to a friend's house instead of doing homework. I forgot about an assignment that was due, and I got points taken off from it because I was late. The time when I was on task and didn't lose focus was when I was working on my social studies magazine. I turned off my phone, stayed focused, and I was able to finish my work earlier than I expected. Lesson 3, set small goals. Setting small goals is the last lesson I'll be going over, but it's still just as important as the others. A big task can be overwhelming, but if you can break it down into smaller pieces, those little tasks don't seem as hard anymore. When you set small, achievable goals and deadlines, you're creating a guide for yourself on how to finish what you're doing instead of looking at the whole problem and not being able to know what to start or what to do. Think of all the things you need to do to complete your goal. Then, make a plan to fit all of those items in by the deadline. Make sure to leave a little extra space in between the tasks in case something takes longer than you thought. By doing this, you can start at the root of the assignment and work your way up to finishing the big checkpoints. For example, a 5-paragraph essay can be made much easier by writing down your ideas for every paragraph and starting there instead of just starting at the intro and not being able to come up with anything. One of the ways I use my lessons outside of school is Boy Scouts. In Boy Scouts, you can go up ranks by working hard. Each rank requires a certain number of badges completed, some community service, and then a meeting with the adult leader of the troop. So far, I've gotten to the star rank, and after my next rank, I need to complete the required set of badges and plan and run an Eagle Scout project all before I'm eligible to be an Eagle Scout. All of these requirements force me to plan ahead for each rank, but my individual performance also affects my troop. I used to be a patrol leader, and if I didn't plan out the activities or help the younger kids stay on track, the whole troop suffered. Last summer, our troop prepared for summer camp. Since no one procrastinated, we were lucky enough to win multiple awards for how prepared we were. If anyone listening to this chapel is also struggling with procrastination, I hope some of these tips will help you become a better student. Thank you for listening to my chapel, and I hope you all have a great day.